Okay. Okay. This year is dedicated to Le'ilu Nishmas.
Aaron ben Yaakov.
Aaron ben Yaakov.
My grandfather.
The neshama should have an aliyah, and it should be a skos Le'ilu Nishmasa.
Yeah, my mother's father. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. So today we're all getting bombarded by all the scholars of, right? Parshas Aman. This is Tuesday of Parshas Beshalach, and I'm getting messages, SMS, WhatsApp, emails, all over the place. And
everybody, when we finish the shit, everybody's got to go and buy a lottery ticket.
Right? And this is a mafteach of Parnasa.
You can buy it.
Yom Gimel Parshas Beshalach, right? Not only that, if you donate to Kupat Ha'ir, yeah, so they got a picture of Chaim Kanievsky here, right? All the dead rabbis, right? They got a picture of Chaim Kanievsky. Yeah, here's a picture of Chaim Kanievsky, right? And he's going to daven for you. And this is a Yom Gimel, right? And they are going to say Parshas Aman for you. Ooh. That's what it says. A special Chavram, Chaverim, based in Shnismana. They were appointed by Rashba Havru Chaim Kanievsky.
Worse and worse from year to year.
They're going to say the Tikkun, they're going to say the Parshas Aman for you. You don't have to do anything. Just give money. Give us money, and we'll say the Parshas Aman for you. Unbelievable.
It's getting worse and worse from year to year.
Unbelievable. First of all, the fact that they say it for you does not work. You have to say it. That's the Mishnah Berurah. You have to say Parshas Aman, and you're supposed to say Parshas Aman and recognize from the Parshas Aman that Parnasa is min HaShemayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge of Parnasa. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the Parnasa, and through your betachin, you will get the gateways will open up for you, but it depends upon your level of betachin, and by saying the Parshas Aman, it develops your betachin. Secondly, to limit it to one day, they got Shnai Mikveh Targum on Gimel. I don't know. They claim it's from the Rimanov. It's a very recent skula. This is not the original skula. The original skula, the Mishnah Berurah brings down, is to say it every. Not Shnai Mikveh Targum. Shnai Mikveh Targum is this week. That's true. This week. Sometime during the week, is supposed to say Shnai Mikveh Targum. But the skula of Parshas Aman is to say it every day. That's what the Mishnah Berurah brings down, B'Shem HaYerushalmi. And the Yerushalmi says, you're muvtach, a person who does this, and he does it every day, he's muvtach that he's going to have parnasa. Now it doesn't say he's going to become wealthy, but he's going to have parnasa. It's a skula for parnasa. This is from the Yerushalmi. So that's the bona fide skula, to say it every day. This Gimel, once a year, I don't want to say anything there. I'll get run out of town by the Hasidim, as they claim it's the Rimanov. I don't know, but it doesn't. This is bona fide what I told you. That's from the Shem of the Yerushalmi. The Shem of the Yerushalmi. The Mishnah Berurah brings it down. Parshas Aman, and it has to be that you say it. You don't just rattle it off. It's not a skula. If you say it like a skula, or if I say it, you rattle it off, you're daydreaming while you're saying it. No.
You'll daydream.
Yeah, no. Kadei shiyamin shekom zoynoisav boyin ba'ashkocha protis. You believe it creates an amuna. All my mezainis, my parnasa comes from hashkocha protis. Hamar below hidif, mamit lo hichzer. Everybody got what they needed. During the month, the 40 years, everybody got what they needed. L'hoiros, ein ribu yashtadlis moyel mi'uma. All you guys who are putting in extra hours, right? It doesn't help. Extra hishtadlis doesn't help. You do a normal hishtadlis and then find time to sit and learn. Sit and learn, and right, and do only a normal hishtadlis. That's Mishnah Berurah Mefurish here.
Not me pay someone to learn, me sit and learn.
That's right.
I was trying to get out of it, you know?
Right, no. And even if you pay somebody
Pay
to
me
sit,
enough, I'll work it out.
even Yisachar Zvulun, people who just, they don't have zitzfleisch. We're not going to get into halachas of Yisachar Zvulun, but even Yisachar Zvulun doesn't negate your personal obligation to learn something every day. Everybody has an obligation to learn something every day. If he really has got a head that he just can't do, there's no such thing as a person, especially today's business world. If you're in business and you're smart enough and you've got smarts to get through the business world and pull off deals, then you're smart enough to figure out a page of whatever this Mishnah is, halacha, Gemara. Doesn't have to be daf yomi. If you could do daf yomi, matova manoyim. Now they had omid yomi, right? It's wonderful, all the different projects that they have, right? Isabi Yerushalmi brachas, and he brings this down. This is the Mishnah Berurah. Kol ha'omer parshas Haman. He means every day. Muvtach lo shlo yismayit mizaynosov. You'll have a parnasa. You'll have a parnasa. I didn't say you're going to become maybe it's not good for you to become rich. It goes to your head if you become rich. But you will have a parnasa. This is the Mishnah Berurah, right? And all these schoolers, you pay somebody to say parshas Haman for you.
Guaranteed it work?
Guaranteed that they're going to make money.
Works for them.
It works for them. This week, the last 3 weeks, Parshas Shmos, Parshas Ve'era, Parshas Boy, the Parshas of Yetzias Mitzrayim, up until in Parshas Bo, finally Kadosh Baruch Hu got Paro to give in, and he capitulated, and he buckled, and he said, "Get out!" And he threw the Yidden out. Now in Parshas Beshalach, but the Gula wasn't finished yet. The Gula wasn't finished yet until we have our last encore, our last scene at the Kriyas Yam Suf. That's what has to happen. And this week's Parsha is Kriyas Yam Suf. And that, with the Kriyas Yam Suf, we're going to have the grand finale of Yetzias Mitzrayim. There was an incident that happened. Yisrael Bragg of Cleveland. So he started off. He was in Kira for many years. Now he's a Rosh Hashiva in Cleveland, and he's very, very big into Hashkofis. And he's the Talmud of Meir Soloveitchik. He learned here in Brisk when he was a bacher, and he was a Talmud of Meir Soloveitchik. So he's got a very, very strong Brisker type of Hashkafa. Now he's in Cleveland. A fellow once called the Telza Yeshiva office. It was Friday afternoon, and there was a rabbi still there, and he answered the phone, and the fellow on the other end of the line was whispering, "Is this a rabbi?" He said, "Yes." Rabbi? No. He called Telz. Come on. No. He called Telz. No. Obviously, he was a Fruma Yid. He was an Orthodox Jew, and he called Telz. He wasn't expecting a rabbanit. He says, "Is this a rabbi?" "Yes." "Rabbi, what do we believe? What do we Jews believe?" "Huh? What's your question?" He's at a business meeting, and in a business meeting, he's about to close a deal, and the fellow was a goy, and a religious goy. So this other gentleman, the non-Jew, started telling him about that he's a religious person, and he told him, this is what we believe. And then he turned to the Jew, and he asked, he sees a yarmulke on his head. Just remember, if you're wearing a yarmulke on the head, you're a company representative. You got to know what you're talking about, so you got to learn something. So he sees a yarmulke on his head, and he turned to him and he says, and what is your basic belief? I have to be excused a second. So he excused himself to go. He had to go to the restroom, right? And Baruch Hashem, for his cell phones, you got a pocket phone, right? And he picks up his phone and he calls and he says, Rabbi, what do we believe? And the rabbi didn't know. And the rabbi didn't know. That must have been embarrassing for the rabbi. He says, listen, call this number. So he gave him Rabbi Brag's phone number. He immediately called Rabbi Brag. Rabbi Brag, you're going to get a phone call right now. Answer it. He needs to talk to you. So he answered the phone. So he says, Rabbi, what do we believe? Huh? What would you do in such a case? Do you know what we believe? Do you know what we believe? What do Jews believe? So this week in the Ramban, it tells us what we believe. This is Yetzias Mitzrayim, and Yetzias Mitzrayim is the core, is the foundation of our belief system, of our emunah and betachin. We have so many mitzvahs which are zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim. And in Yetzias Mitzrayim, we get our basic core tenets of belief. This is the foundation of them all. So the Ramban gives a little bit of an introduction. He gives a little bit of an introduction. He says, atheism, apikorsis, non-belief has been around for a long time. We have a tradition. We know that from the Dor Enosh. Dor Enosh was what? Three generations? That's it. 3 generations after Adam HaRishon, people already started going OTD, off the derech. Everybody were children of Adam HaRishon, and his children started going off the derech. From Mimei Enosh, the Deus started lishtabish. People started getting very confused in Emunah. Some people started being kofer be'ikr. There is no God. The world's always been here. Huh? The world has always been here. They deny the existence of God. Now that, when I was growing up, was the prevalent belief. Science has strayed from the time of Newton. Newton and all the great scientists of his days were religious people. And they were using science to explain God's wonderful world. We want to understand the world in natural terms, but we understood that God created the world. That was Newton and the scientists of that day. Since then, with the scientific revolution, atheism came into hand. We don't need God anymore. We have science, and they created all sorts of theories. When I was growing up, I was into cosmology, into astronomy, and the biggest and the accepted belief at that time was called the steady states theory. They saw this big, giant universe, It looked endless. We didn't know about the Big Bang when I started when I was young. They didn't know about the Big Bang. It was just an endless, as far back as you see with the telescopes. It goes further and further back, and it's just always been there. It's called the steady state theory. It was, is, and always will be. You don't need God to explain it. And then came along the scientists, and they came up with a new theory, and they tried to shoot it down because they didn't want to believe that it had a beginning. No, the world had a beginning, the Big Bang.
Why?
Because if there's a beginning, there's something before the beginning.
If there's a beginning, someone created the beginning, and you have a problem. Who made the beginning?
Yeah.
So they didn't want to accept it, and they fought tooth and nail. But
This in the 60s, Rebbe?
huh?
This in the 60s?
Yeah, and then now it's been proven the Big Bang is got solid foundations. They have enough proofs of it. They know that it happened.
How do they know? AI. AI?
Let's stay away from AI.
He said it. Yeah,
Let's-
ChatGPT said it.
Deep
If
Okay.
you have enough proof,
That
enough people say it, so it's probably true.
no. They have scientific proofs from the expansion of the universe. They see the universe expanding, and they have the what do you call it,
At Bell Lab, they're able to
the Bell Lab people, and they found the background radiation and the microwave radiation and the remnants of the Big Bang radiation. So it's been proven there was a Big Bang. It started as a little tiny unity, some sort of unity, very, very tiny. The whole universe was compressed into a unity, and then the unit exploded. Okay. Now, the atheists are not to be outdone. The atheists won't accept that. So now that only pushes the question further back. Where this unity come from? There was a unit, a minute ball of everything. Where'd that come from? Right? I mean, it exploded, but where'd it come from? That exploded. What exploded? And what caused it to explode? If there was nothing before then, so nothing exploded, right? So what exploded? They have big problems. They have very, very, very big problems. So they have. I won't go into it. They have. They're still working on trying to disprove the Big Bang theory. They say there's multiverse. There's millions of Big Bangs. Just as far away as you go, it's Big Bangs. Yeah, this reminds me of there was Professor Berkeley. Professor Berkeley he was one of the biggest philosophers in the '60s, and he was giving a lecture on the creation of the world, and some Irish lady was sitting in the audience, and she says, "Bunk." Says, "What do you mean bunk?" "It's all bunk." "What's bunk?" "The world is sitting on a turtle." Right? That's what she believed. There's a world, and the world is sitting on a turtle, and that's where the world is. So he looked at her. He thought, right? Yeah. And what's the turtle sitting on? Turtle sitting on another turtle. Okay. And my dear lady, what is that turtle sitting on? So she looked at him and says, "Oh, you're so silly and so stupid. It's turtles all the way down." Anyway, that's what modern science is. If you believe in the steady state theory, the atheists will not give in. That's one problem. That's one atheistic shita. The second atheistic shita, machishin b'yidioso. So there were many goyim that believed in God, but they didn't believe that he didn't know. He doesn't know what's going on.
Watchmaker.
Huh?
Watchmaker, really.
Mehem machishin b'yedioso. In other words, the mehem, there were those who believe in God, but they disbelieve, they deny that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Hashgacha Pratis. He doesn't know the details. He just knows what's going on, in general. He's up there 14 billion light years away, and he looks down and he sees the general picture, but he doesn't know all the details of what's happening. That's another fallacy. That's another false idea. And then the third shita is that they believe that God knows everything that's going on in the universe, but they deny that there's hashgacha pratis. He can't mix in. He doesn't mix in. He looks at the whole world as a bunch of fish floating around in an aquarium, and that's it. We're not important for him to deal with. By the Eser Makas, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said three major statements, and with the Eser Makas, he disproved these three issues. He says, Laman Teda ki ani Hashem b'kerev ha'aretz. Hashem is b'kerev ha'aretz. There's hashgacha. There's hashgacha pratis down to every detail. We see in many of the by the lice, by the frogs, by the arbe, by the locusts, everything, right? He sent the locusts only to the Mitzrim, but by the Yidden it never went into Eretz Goshen. Nothing ever got into Eretz Goshen. The Borid came down, and you could see a line where the border was. There was no Borod, no hail in Eretz Goshen. Things that were happening, the Dever, not a single animal from the Jews. That Hashgacha Pratis, Kadosh Baruch Hu was mashgiach on everything. He never, right? Nothing was a mikra. Then it says Laman Tedeki LaHashem Haaretz. That's even more on Chiddush. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. What do you mean He created the world? He changed water into blood. Now water is very is fluid, and the fish. I saw a marvelous. They asked a question. It says by I'm going to put dam into the river, and all the fish will die. So they ask a question: why did the Kodesh Baruch Hu have to say in the pasuk, all the fish will die? We know if it turns to blood, fish can't breathe in blood, so they're going to die. Why did it have to say that? Don't think it was an optical illusion. That's what they're trying to say now. There was just some red dye from silt. Some silt got volcanic silt or something like that got into the water, and it turned red, and it was really water, but it looked like blood. It was blood red. That's what people, even today, they're trying to write it off like that. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, no. If that's the case, the fish won't die. The fish are going to die because fish can't live in blood. He actually changed it's a different molecular makeup. He changed he rearranged the molecules to make blood and not water. Water's got one molecular makeup, and blood has a different molecular makeup. And he changed the whole thing. Kodesh Baruch Hu is mechadish everything. And Kodesh Baruch Hu created Yesh Me'ayin. He played around with night. We think that night is just the absence of light. He made night so real that it blocked them into place. During the second, there were 3 sections of darkness, 3 days and then 3 days. The first 3 days they couldn't see anything, and the Yidden were walking around their houses with flashlights. So for the Yidden, there was light. And for the Mitzri, there was no light. So he was toying with light, the concept of light. The light never reached the Egyptians' eyes, but the Yidden were walking around the house. It was broad daylight in their houses. And then the night got so strong, it locked them into place. It became tangible. And they couldn't move because of the night, because of the darkness. So Kodesh Baruch Hu actually, he created it, and he started playing around with the physics of the matter and the energy of the whole world, because he created Yesh Me'ayin. And L'man Teda Ki Ein Kamani B'chol Ha'aretz proves he could do anything, and he did. He did anything, and he was able to do Makas B'chayris. B'kitzer, that there were 10 Makas, and this proved all the atheistic theories. So so Yusuf Brag, he said we can memorize this if you want to memorize this. This is from, so we have a mnemonic, a memory aid. We'll call it Chaya. What's Chaya? Chaya is Ches, Yud, Hey. Chiddush, Yecholis, Hashkocha. The first thing is Chiddush. Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world Yesh Me'ayin. He created the world Yesh Me'ayin. We think that there was a Big Bang. What was before the Big Bang? Nothing. In other words, Kadosh Baruch Hu, there was absolutely nothing. There was nothing to create the universe. He was Mechadish it Yesh Me'ayin. That's the Chiddush. That's the Chiddush of the universe. And secondly, not only he did a one-time Chiddush, he's constantly Mechadish the universe. He's constantly Mechadish the universe. He's pumping energy into the universe to keep it around. I always like to use I think like the Chavetz Chaim said that all the modern inventions that we have are all to make tangible all the concepts of Emunah. We now have a computer screen. On a computer screen, you could be watching a movie, right? But you know that the computer screen is you have the information is being pumped into the computer screen. I don't know how many, 30 times a second or 50 times a second. I don't know how many, what the actual speed is, and it looks like it's real. And there's electricity, and it's keeping it around. Give you a marshal, right? You're sitting in a movie theater. You shouldn't be sitting in a movie theater. But let's say we're sitting in a movie theater.
The movie's on the screen anyway.
Yeah, today we watch movies on the screen, but there's a gripping scene in a movie theater, and people and the villain, and he comes out of the dark corner, and he's got his revolver, and the hero, and that you've connected with for the past hour in the movie, he turns around and he sees that his end is up. He says, "Your end is up," and he's about to shoot, and everybody's screaming, "Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" Right? Terrible. So somebody gets scared. Right? And he's petrified that he's gonna shoot him. He runs over to the projector and pulls the plug. Now, did the villain fall dead? No.
He's dead.
No.
The gun either. He didn't find the gun either.
He never fought, right? It just disappeared. It just disappeared. Right? No one died. It just went blank. I used to say it went blip. But even that's too much. It didn't even go blip. It just stopped. That's the world. Every second, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we say every day, this is so important that they say twice in Shacharis, the beginning of Yotze Or and the end of Yotze Or, there's a statement, but Uvetuva Mechadish B'choyom Tomid Ma'aseh Bereishis. That's how important this statement is. So the world really doesn't exist. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is creating it out of nothing every second. But it sure looks real. It sure looks real. That's AI. Artificial intelligence is taking it away, right? You got You got new movies now. They look so real and they're all artificial. That's what Olam Haza is. It's all AI. It's amazing. Our whole world is AI. But it's not AI, it's HI. Hashem's intelligence. It's HI. Bekitzer, that's the first thing. That's the first thing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created ex nihilo, yesh me'ayin, and he's mechadish it constantly. Then Yecholis, he can do anything. He can do anything. He can make the wild animals come out of nowhere. They just and he controlled them. And he controlled them where they're going to go. And people try to get away from them. They couldn't get away from the wild animals. He made the frogs come out of the mud. He created new frogs. It was all a mass production of frogs, millions of frogs, just being mass produced in the mud, in the Nile. Right? The Yecholis. Not only that Yecholis, he could do things which were contrary to the laws of nature. Fire it melts, it evaporates water. Water puts out fire. He created borod, which was fire inside of an ice ball, inside of a hailstone. You have a hailstone which is ice, and inside of it is burning fire, and they live happily ever after. And they came screaming down, and people got killed from from the being hit by the ice, and if they didn't get killed by being hit by the ice ball, right? So they got burnt up with the fire. There was fire inside the ice. How do you have fire inside the ice? Kadosh Baruch Hu could do anything. Yecholis, he could do anything. Makas b'chayris, he could do anything. He could discern who's a b'chor and who's not a b'chor. And then we get to the last thing, hashgacha pratis. He runs everything. Everything is run. He runs the entire human species. Now we don't like this. Most people don't like hashgacha pratis because we don't like mashgichim. They don't like people sitting on their head telling them what to do and ordering them around, right? And watching over them and supervising them, right? They said, okay, Kadosh Baruch Hu, you want to look at what I'm doing? Go take a look at the summer reruns. Go look at the video screen after hours. But please don't watch me while I'm doing it. That's what people did. They don't want Kadosh Baruch Hu to be a mashgiach. Kadosh Baruch Hu is mashgiach. He's watching everything. We have the wrong idea of who a Kadosh Baruch Hu is. He's our best friend. He loves us so much. Therefore, that kind of mashgiach you should really want. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is able to be mavchin. It says by makas b'chayros. You had to have he smote the firstborn, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to do it. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to do it? Because this woman had a husband, and she had her oldest son, and he was the firstborn. Makas b'chayros came, and all of a sudden, not only did Tony go, so did Jimmy, and Sammy, and Inwar, and five firstborns? How'd you have five firstborns? You were messing around. And I don't know how many women got their heads bashed in from that when the husband found out what they had been doing for the past 20 years. So that was a big revelation.
He had his own story.
He had his own story.
Did they know that it was the first? It was only the first.
They knew it was only firstborn. So how come there's the three firstborns being?
It was the firstborn of the male?
Yeah, of the male.
No.
Which the male? Also her, right?
And if it wasn't the firstborn in the house, then it was the oldest person in the house.
That's right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now these are very important. So if you want to know what we believe, somebody calls you up on the phone, Rabbi, what do we believe? So now we know. Chaya. Don't call him a Chaya. Be careful. Don't call him a Chaya. We believe in Chaya. Chiddush, Yecholis, and Hashgacha Pratis. Right? Now it says, Bavor, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to do a miracle. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to do a miracle every day. This is what the Ramban says. Kadosh Baruch Hu does not do miracles all the time, b'chol dor, in front of every Rasha and Kaifer. So therefore he commanded us to have a zecher, zikaron, constantly, as an ois, that we should see. And these are the many of the mitzvahs are Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim. We find Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim is a basic concept in so many mitzvahs. You put tefillin on. It's a Zeicher, it's an ois. You put it on your arm. You wrap yourself, you tie it on. You're binding yourself to the Emunah and the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Because that's Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim, the end of Parshas Bo. Kaddishli, the parsha of Kaddishli, because of Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us to tie that parsha on your arm and on your head. On your arm, keneged the lave. I'm a lefty, that's why I keep on going to this hand, right? You go to this hand, yeah. So it's on the arm, keneged the lave. That's the right. The heart should be attached to Emunah, and the center of my mind, which is up in the front of the head. That's why the tefillin have to be in the top of the front of the head, towards the front of the head. This is where the center of the neshama is. And even the neurosurgeons are beginning to realize that this is a very special area in the head. It's got to be on that. And that's what we have so many mitzvahs. You have a mezuzah on your door. That's Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim. You can ask the question, Shabbos. Shabbos because of Maaseh Bereshis. Yeah, Shabbos because of Maaseh Bereshis. That's what Shabbos is all about. 7 days Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world. On the seventh day he rested. We proclaim by Shabbos HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world out of nothing. They don't believe it. What do I have to keep Shabbos for? He did this. The world's been around. There's no God. If you're an atheist, keeping Shabbos doesn't make any sense. By keeping Shabbos, and this is an amazing thing that today so many people. I mean, hopefully they're getting this lady, this girl Agam. I mean, it hit her. It hit her that she wants to be Jewish. So she tried as much as she could, whatever she understood. She was not a religious girl, but whatever she understood. She started trying to keep Shabbos. She knew that's what a Jew is. They keep Shabbos. Because that declares that there's a Kodesh Baruch Hu. But how do we know? But we say in Kiddush, Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim. Why Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim? Because without Yitzias Mitzrayim, we would never know about Maaseh Bereshis. We would never have that Emunah. Yitzias Mitzrayim, we saw Hashem with our eyes. We saw Hashem with our eyes. We weren't around at Maaseh Bereshis, but once we saw him at Yitzias Mitzrayim, so now we know about Maaseh Shabbos. Kodesh Baruch Hu is not going to do miracles all the time. He's going to choose he only does miracles when it's once in a while. For tzaddikim, and he did only at Yitzias Mitzrayim. He did once, and we have many times. You find apikorsim, you find atheists. If there's a God, let him do a miracle right now, and I'll believe. I don't see a miracle. I don't believe. Yisroel Salanter, at his time, so the Haskalah was in full force, and they were destroying the fabric of Emunah of the Yidden in Europe. He was going around lecturing on the Musar movement and trying to encourage the Fruma Yidden to start learning Musar. If you start learning Musar, start understanding and becoming a better Yid. Now his hometown was Mamel in I don't know where Mamel is, North Germany. North Germany, Mamel. So he rented a room in a Jewish inn. He used to come back there many times. And he rented a room there. And one time he came to his lodgings, and he found that the landlord's attitude towards Yiddishkeit had changed. He started making light was making fun of Torah and light of Torah and mitzvahs. And there was something, he was a different person. So Rabbi Yisrael asked him, what happened? What happened? So the man said, a few days earlier, a heretic came into the inn, and he started making fun of the concept of reward and punishment. There's no, right? I don't believe in reward and punishment. I don't believe in schar v'onish. So he went out and he bought non-kosher salami, and he had this treifa sandwich, and he picked it up in his hand, and he says, if it's true that Kadosh Baruch Hu, that the Almighty is watching everything, and that there's reward and punishment, the salami should stick in my throat and choke him to death. Right? And he proceeded to eat the salami in front of everybody, and nothing happened. You see, there's no God. And the innkeeper's faith was shaken. Innkeeper's faith was shaken, and from then on he started getting sveikas and getting doubts. And that was the spirit of the day. Everybody started getting doubts. A few hours later, the innkeeper's daughter comes back. She returned from school, and she proudly announced that she had received her diploma in singing from music school. She had graduated with very high marks. Yisrael was in the main lounge when the girl came in, and he called her over and maybe sing a song and prove that you're such a good singer. She got all huff and puffed, and she refused. Right? So Rabbi Yisrael called over her father, and he says that your daughter lacks good manners. I mean, she didn't talk to me respectfully. I just asked her a very simple request, and she got, with a huff and a puff, she just walked out. So the innkeeper called his daughter back and asked her how she could speak to Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Salanter, in such a disrespectful fashion. It wasn't polite, proper. So she answered, it's not polite or proper that I have to sing in front of anybody for no good reason, just to prove that I can sing. Doesn't it make sense? That's why she got a diploma. She doesn't if you don't believe my talents, when I either look at the diploma or come to my next performance and go there. But I don't have to prove it to everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, that I know how to sing. I have a diploma to prove it. The innkeeper says, Rabbi, that's a good answer, right? And the rabbi said, yeah, it's a good answer. Now just ask your daughter to leave a second. I want to speak to you privately. So the girl left the room, and the Yisrael Salanta turned to the innkeeper, and he says, listen to what you said. Do you think a Kodesh Baruch Hu is just going to perform in front of every Tom, Dick, and Harry who doesn't believe him? He's like your daughter. It's not proper that anybody can snap his fingers at God and tell him when to perform and when not to perform, right? He performed miracles in the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim. And he even has a diploma displaying that fact, the Torah. And we have many, many mitzvahs that are the diploma of Zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim. Many times in our history, there were miracles done. If you read the Tanakh from the time of Yeshua all the way through Bayis Rishon, there were miracles done. The time of Hanukkah, there were miracles done. Kodesh Baruch Hu does miracles throughout history. He doesn't have to snap his fingers. You can't just snap your fingers and get a Kodesh Baruch Hu to dance at will, right? He's a puppet, has to dance to our command. The Torah is his diploma, and it's the proof of God's ability. That's the importance. So this is the importance of Zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim. Kodesh Baruch Hu during the Eser Makos, he toyed with nature. And then came the finale in this week's Parsha of Beshalach, and he played with the Kriyas Yamsuf, water, which it can't stand. It's got to be held together, and then the water created a wall, and it stood by itself. V'yotzu on Yabasha, b'toch hayam, when the water separated, it wasn't muddy surface that they had to go through now, muddy land. Everything was 100% dry. It was 100% dry. And it doesn't, and when the Yidden went through it, for the Yidden it split, and while they were still going through it, it was still splitting for the Yidden. And then behind them, when the Mitzrim came into the river basin, it just collapsed back on them. So he was playing with laws of nature. We have to realize that the concept that a Kodesh Baruch Hu controls everything. He can be mashgiach on everything. He runs all of nature. His mechadish b'tuva b'choyom tomid ma'asav v'reishis is intrinsic to our belief. You know, today we have, I call it belligerent intolerance, or activistic intolerance, or militant intolerance. Maybe that's a better word. Militant intolerance is the new norm in our society. There's a combative atheist, and he's in your face. And they don't like arguing anything reasonable. They want to get a gotcha. So in my day, they still want to say it, but it's an old argument. Can God create a rock that is too heavy for him to pick up? Well, if he's omnipotent, he can create a rock that's so heavy he can't pick it up. But if he can't pick it up, he's not omnipotent. Ha 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 ha. It's a contradiction. Gotcha. Famous gotcha. Right? It's not gotcha. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It shows that they don't understand. So Ben Sion Schaefer of the Shmuz, he's got a marvelous mashal. I just want to introduce this mashal to you, and you'll start thinking about it. Tomorrow is going to be our first day of winter, according to the predictions. It's supposed to come. It's beautiful outside. It's beautiful outside. It's like spring, right? We haven't had so they say that winter is starting tomorrow. It's going to pour and rain. So it's February. So, right, imagine that you're standing by a bus stop tomorrow night on a cold February day, and you're cold and shivering, and you want to get warm. So you close your eyes. You have 10 minutes till the bus comes, and you close your eyes. And you imagine you're sitting at a beach, and it's a beautiful beach, and the sand is white, and the wind is blowing gently, and it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit outside, 30 degrees centigrade outside, and the sky is blue, and there's one lone seagull wafting in the air. And then all of a sudden the bus comes, gets splattered by water. I wake up. Right? Gone is the sand. Gone is the sun, and gone is the seagull. Where'd they go? They died? No. I created the seagull, and as long as I continued dreaming,
AI.
the seagull continued having an existence. That is the way we understand the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu closed it, so to speak, Chas v'sholom. Before the world was created, there was nothing. Before I went to sleep, there was nothing. I decided to go to sleep, and I started dreaming, and I dreamed about the sand. All of a sudden, the sand came into existence, and all of a sudden, the sky came into existence, and all of a sudden, the seagull came into existence. And as long as I continue dreaming, the seagull keeps flying. If I wake up, like the computer screen, everything goes blank. Now, to show you how much I can control, how I can control the world that I created, how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu can control the world that He created, imagine that I want the seagull, I want the sand. I don't want the sand down here. I want the sand in the sky. So I'm going to put the sand in the sky in my dream. Now I've got a sky full of sand. So you're going to say, one second. Sand's going to fall down. If you put the sand in the sky, it's all going to fall down. Don't tell me what to do with my dream. I want the sand in the sky. If I want the sand in the sky, the sand's going to go into the sky. And I want the seagull to fly upside down. What are you? A seagull can't fly upside down. It's, the laws of aerodynamics. It's got to be a certain. No, this is my world. I can create it however I want. If I want the seagull to fly upside down, then the seagull will fly upside down. What if I want the seagull? I want it to fly half to the west and half to the east. What? You're going to split it's going to die. If you split it in half, it's going to die. And it's got to flap together, the wings. You can't have one wing flapping over here and another wing flapping over. It doesn't work. Come on, get off my back. It's my dream, and I can create the laws of nature the way I want it to be. And I can change the laws of nature however I want. It's my dream. If I want half a seagull here and half a seagull there, then I'm going to get half a seagull. And the sand is going to stay in the sky. And you're going to ask a question. Can God create cold heat? Yeah. Can God create dry water? Can God ask a question that God can't answer? These are silly questions. Any atheist that asks these, they're silly questions. They're irrelevant. They're self-limiting. They're irrelevant. Hashem created the concept of a question. The Kadosh Baruch Hu created the concept of a mind. He created the way your mind works. If you don't understand God, that's because He created you with a limited amount of intelligence. And if you don't understand because you can't understand, how can He create out of nothing? Imagine, the minute before creation, the minute before Maaseh Bereshis, what was there? Nothing. No, the Tohu Vavohu is after the Maaseh Bereshis. Yeah. After Maaseh Bereshis we had Tohu Vavohu. What was before Tohu Vavohu? Absolutely nothing.
Really, Tohu Vavohu wasn't. Okay.
He had to create something. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of the creation of energy as opposed to matter. Was Tohu Vavohu, and then they slowly congealed and formed. This went to energy, and this went to matter. And why did he have to do it? Some reason he followed the talich. I don't know. So Rabbi Schaefer's daughter asked him, "Okay, Daddy, I get it. Right? Before HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, I get it. There was nothing. But what color was it?" So you'll say black. Black is a color. Before HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, there was absolutely nothing. This is what we celebrate. This is what we remember in these parshas. This is the important things. These are the yesodus of Yiddishkeit, and therefore we are serving a Kadosh Baruch Hu, who is the creator of all, and He created us, and we're the purpose. Our purpose is to declare that a Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world, created the universe, and created us, and we're trying to be as good Yidden as we can.
Rabbi, would we say maybe not there was nothing, there was only Hashem?
What?
Before Bereshit, there was only Hashem.
And it still is.
Yes. Always. He's the steady state theory.
Right.
He's the steady
Either way,
state.
you have to say the steady state.
but only because, on Hashem. It's an irrelevant question. There's always been Hashem. He created time. What's time?
Rebbe, you say Parshas Monday personally?
Today? No, specifically, I say every day.
You're gonna say twice with the Targum day?
No.
That's a brand new Rimmen allegedly Rimmen over.
It's a new. I'm not. You want to do it because to hate. I don't know the Rimnov. I'm not going to say against the
You're
Rimnov.
saying it's new. It's a relatively new thing. Like when you were a young man, this
No.
was not known.
Was
When I was a young
I'm-
man, it wasn't known.
it wasn't known.
Okay,
No,
there's two different
they
questions,
publicize-
okay, you know, in terms of time frames.
They put. I'm not saying Rimanov lived hundreds of years ago,
150 years ago.
150 years ago. I don't know, whatever, 300 years, 200 years ago. I don't know when he was a Talmud of Baal
Okay, you're
Shem.
saying when you were in Eretz
Talmud
Yisrael,
of Rebbe Elimelech.
Rav Scheinberg did not say it.
No, it's not. He follows Mishnah Berurah.
Lifshitz did not say it.
Wait. The Rimanov is a Hasidisha. So maybe some Hasidisha did. I don't know. Everybody's looking for schoolers.
Rebbe, sorry, we had it.